All right, guys, welcome back to the Extra Innings Podcast. Today is Monday, October 21st, and the stage is set. We will have a Yankees Dodgers World Series. I called it for what it's worth. There's videos, my podcast when I started this thing back up like last week. I said it. A lot of people have also predicted it. Honestly, on paper, it should have been this. Should have always been this. But anyway, well, we're gonna break down. I know it's Monday. I didn't do a podcast Saturday. I was busy. Didn't do a podcast Sunday. I was busy. Yeah, we're gonna talk about it, man. We're gonna talk about Saturday's clinching game for the Yankees, and then of course a clinching game on Sunday for the Dodgers, which wasn't nearly as exciting, but we'll talk about it, and then kind of give a small preview, and then I guess on Wednesday. We won't podcast tomorrow simply just because there's literally nothing happening. If I find a topic to talk about, maybe, but we'll do a preview on Wednesday and then another preview on Friday once we get a little bit closer. So yeah, but today we're going to talk about the games that got them here. Now, I heard a comment the other day when I was watching the Dodgers and Mets that the guys over at TBS got all the exciting games, which is very much true because the Dodgers games, like last night, was boring. It was just really like not both teams. I guess that's wrong to say because the Dodgers bring the energy, but it just seemed like the vibes weren't as like intense as the Yankees Guardians was. Maybe that's just the fans themselves, but I don't know. But we'll first talk about the game on Saturday between the Guardians and the Yankees. So let me click the box here. So starters was, I think it was Rodon, who just didn't, he was okay. He was all right. Yeah, Rodon, four and 2/3, 5 hits, 2 earned runs, 1 walk, 6 strikeouts. I guess on paper it looked better than it looked watching it live because he just didn't seem to have the same like that he had. Obviously, his first start was fucking horrendous. Came out shoved against this team. Against the Guardians and did really well here in the championship series. And he came again, which a lot of people don't understand how big this game was to win because you get to rest Garrett Cole, who can start game 1 of the World Series on Friday with a little bit extra rest rather than having to pitch. I guess it would have been yesterday and then 4 maybe 5 days technically pitch on Friday. So big game here. Leiter Jr., who they left off the championship series roster. Ian Hamilton went down with a calf injury, and they pulled him up, flew him in, and he was immediately thrown into the gauntlet. Really, like they put him in there on, I think it was Thursday night, and that was fucking intense. And then obviously put him in there on Friday again. So, or was it Friday night? Maybe Friday night they threw him in there, and then Saturday he was a big part again. Threw a lot of pitches on his first outing and then came in again, threw 2 outs for them, clutch outs, though he had 2 walks, but he did well, no runs allowed. And the other guy, and we're going to get into the Guardians and what went wrong there. People are like not giving Tim Hill enough credit, in my opinion. He has thrown, I think, every game, and his ERA is a 1.59. A little funky up there, not going to lie. He looks very weird delivery. So it's about 88-90, but he is effective. And then you got Kirk Cousins. This is Kirk Cousins' cousin, but it is Cousins. 1 1/3, not bad. 4 strikeouts, another clutch performance. Then hands it to Weaver for not only 1 but 2 innings to close it out. Much needed. The 9th and the 10th. Now, on the Guardian side, I'm a little close there. Bybee did good, man. He did really well. Honestly, the Yankees just got to him. The Yankees got to him. He's a young pitcher. He went 5 2/3, went into the 6th. He cruised for I think like the 2nd through the 5th. He was cruising. I'm not gonna lie, he was cruising. Smith comes in, Heron comes in, Clase comes in. Clase much better than he was the last time. Still, I mean, the last 2 outings overshadow this good outing, and it doesn't really matter. Then Gaddis, who ended up giving up the game. But yeah, so we're going to talk about this game. This game was neck and neck, man, all the way through. But again, the last 3 games in that championship series for the Yankees and Guardians, as a baseball fan, you could not have asked for more. You literally could not have asked for more out of this series. I mean, it was insane. It was crazy. Guardians actually struck first against Rodon, and then they put it up two. It was 2-0 going into the fifth. And then, Giancarlo is going to be Giancarlo, man. Hits a fucking absolute nuke. Yeah, it was, that's really all they had was Giancarlo and then Soto in the 10th. But we'll talk about both these at-bats. So I'm actually thinking about breaking down the at-bat, because the at-bat between Giancarlo Stanton in that 6th inning and the at-bat with Juan Soto in that 10th inning are probably master as an ex-baseball player. If you're still playing baseball, if you have young kids, like, those are a master class of hitting, especially Juan Soto's at bat in the 10th. I mean, they were just, Giancarlo Stanton was playing mind games with Bybee up there. I mean, just playing mind games till he got the pitch that he wanted late in the count. I think he had definitely had 2 strikes, and it was just beautiful at bat, and he just smashed it, just absolutely destroyed it. And then as we go, so then, tied 2-2, going into the 7th, 8th, 9th, scoreless on both ends, and we go into the top of the 10th. I think, Gleyber Torres gets on. 2 people on. Let me see if I can find that moment, actually. Here we go. Oh, sorry. Gleyber strikes out. Dominguez, who came in for the pinch hit for Wells, and then Alex Verdugo also gets on. Then Juan Soto lets it ride. So that at bat was just, I mean, the spoiling after spoil after spoil after spoil. It was breaking ball. There was going to be a point when Gaddis needed to come with a fastball, and I was watching it. I was on the edge of my seat. I was like, he's got it. Like, here it is, 3-2 or 1-2, 1-2. He's spoiling everything. Anything he threw on the outside, just piss on it. Just get it out of the zone. Just defensive swings. Just get it out. And I was like, here, he has to come. Like, this is the one. He's got to come with a fastball eventually. He's not going to keep throwing, breakers, because he's not going to lose him. You can't load him up with then Judge coming up, right? Sure as shit, gets a fastball, which almost was, it wasn't even a strike, I don't think. If you look at it, it was high. It wasn't even a strike, and he just smashed it. Dead fucking center. Only suiting for him to come back and make the last out of the game. But yeah, guys, this series through 10, I think the last 3 games went into extras. So, like, I don't think game 4 went into extras. Game 3 did. I think game 4 ended in the 9th, and then obviously this one in the 10th. But, like, props up to Cleveland, man, for doing what they did. They're Rocchio and Jimenez up the middle. Some guys that put up a masterclass. Fry, hitting that walk-off home run, I think was just right time, right guy, because he really didn't show much after that. But still a crazy moment. Quan, okay. Jose Ramirez, they shut him down. Josh Naylor, the Naylor brothers actually carried a lot of the weight here in game 5. It was game 5. But I mean, hey, props to these guys who really didn't. It was kind of like, I was talking to my girlfriend about it, and we're sitting there talking about it. I was like, it's kind of crazy because, the Guardians themselves, they made it here. From the wild card to the division to the championship series. It's like they win. Let's just say they knocked off the Yankees, which it never really looked like that was ever going to be an option, to be honest with you. From the outside looking in, obviously, in that clubhouse, they probably were like, we could do this. And to be 1,000% honest, there were some times that they just didn't come through with the big hit on multiple occasions in multiple games in this series, which obviously is why they didn't, because there was too many people left on base, too many situations where they needed the big hit and didn't get it. It was just a lot of that, some timely errors here and there. But for the most part, like I said, Jimenez and Rocchio, shortstop, second baseman up the middle, great. They were awesome up there. Like I said, the Naylor brothers, Bo Naylor, who couldn't buy a hit for I think the entire postseason until he got here, and then just kind of started unloading. Just a little too late to get hot, in my opinion, but still props to him. Josh Naylor, another guy who played well. Lane Thomas did all right. But yeah, obviously Noel, he hits that home run in the pinch hit situation, then they want to ride him and see if he can do it again, and then nothing after that. So just one of those things, man. It's just one of those things. But the Yankees obviously been hitting the ball really well. Gleyber Torres is another guy that I think didn't get a lot of credit. He had a really lackluster season, was benched for not hustling. There was a lot of drama with him, who's also in a contract year. And he's really just kind of been like one of those like diamonds in the rough, just kind of like just coming in clutch when we need him. Yeah, Gleyber Torres, stud. Juan Soto, obviously 3 for 5. Judge 0 for 4 again. Didn't really do much, but again, he's had some big moments in this series. Giancarlo Stanton, the ALCS MVP, obviously. All the home runs, the dude is hot. 294 with a 1.179 OPS. Jazz Chisholm, again, Jazz is struggling up there. It's been struggling, but it's been pretty made clear by Aaron Boone that he's not leaving the lineup. Anthony Rizzo, who took a backseat to the end of the game for Cabrera. Rizzo's been doing pretty good. Obviously, leave him on. He's got a 1 OPS, so that's good. Volpe, another guy who's really turned it on. Wells still struggling up there. I don't really know. He drew a walk, batting 0.91 with a 3.49 OPS, so not good. Dominguez came in to pinch run for that walk in the last inning. Then Trevino closed it out behind the plate in the 10th. And Verdugo obviously 0 for 4, but he scored a run. So interesting there. Lineup obviously kind of quiet on both sides. 36 at-bats, 35 at-bats, 9 hits, 7 hits. So pretty even across. Like I said, just timely hitting, and I think that's kind of been like the thing for the Guardians this whole championship series. Timely hitting, man. The Yankees have the clutch gene. Guardians had it at one point. I guess it just died out. I don't know. Just didn't find that clutch gene again. So interesting enough. But yeah, so the Yankees going to the World Series. First time since 2009. I was 14 years old. I remember watching it. I had the hat. I actually went to New York to see a game that year. It was the inaugural season. I remember I had the hat, and I actually ruined that hat. I should have kept it as a keepsake, and my parents were like, don't wear that hat. And me and JUCO, I was like, I'm going to wear this fucking hat because I'm a Yankee fan. I love this hat, and I just absolutely trashed it because when you're in East Texas in the summer or fall, it's 100 fucking degrees, so I sweated the fuck out of that hat, and it became junk, which I'm upset about because it had the inaugural patch on the back. It was a dope-ass hat for when they won it that year. First year they opened New Yankee Stadium. Regrets, consequences, but it is what it is. So Yankees going to the World Series for the first time since 2009. Like I said, I was 14 years old. I was a freshman in high school. I'm 29 years old right now. So it's been a bit. Or I guess I was 15. I was 15, 14, 15, one of the two. Absolutely nuts. A time difference, a time change. See, a lot of people are talking about that. It's crazy. But yeah, expected. I didn't expect Cleveland to ever really come through and beat them. Almost a clean sweep, except for that one walk-off win, where Big Christmas came through and then Fry came through. And what are you gonna do? Cleveland again put up a great fight, great series, fun to watch as a baseball fan, and ended the way we wished. Now, let's move on again. This is going to be a little bit of a short episode. Dodgers 10-5. So we'll start with the pitching matchup here for the NLCS. Here we had both teams use quite a bit. Obviously, it was a bullpen game for Los Angeles, who they were going to ride with that. Dave Roberts made that clear. Gave Kopech the start to Kasperius, to Banda, to Brazier, to Phillips, Dan Hudson, who's old man Dan Hudson, and then Treinen, their closer. I'm not a Dodgers fan. They're very much the dark side for me, but I love watching Blake Treinen pitch. The dude is fucking filthy. He's been filthy since he was with Oakland. The dude is nasty. Love watching him pitch. But let's get into it. So the problem started. Where did the problem start? Okay, so going into this game, C4, man. The Mets needed Manaea to have another outing like he did. I think it was in game 1 or 2. Going into game 6, they needed another outing like that. And they were banking that he was going to turn in another performance like that. Lasted only 2 innings, 6 hits, 5 runs, 5 earned runs, 2 walks, 2 strikeouts, a home run. Yeah. Did not have it that game. Very obvious. Obviously, a little bit on short rest. But here's the thing, man. This is what a lot of people don't understand. They're like, oh my God, Manaea sucked out there. It's like, no, because I'm always surfing. I'm always on Twitter mid-game to see what people are saying and also say things myself. People were kind of throwing this on Manaea. Okay, but the thing is, guys, seeing a lineup this strong, you're in the postseason, they've got all the data, they've already seen you once, you own their ass, so they know what you've got. They're going to come back prepared, especially this team, especially the Dodgers. You should expect nothing less. Any mistake he made, capitalize. There were many more mistakes last night than there were in his first start. Granted, he was not anywhere near as crisp, but like sometimes he made a mistake in that game 1 or 2, and he was able to kind of break it, kind of like, he could get away with it. That weird slot. They hadn't seen him before, or they may have seen him earlier in the year, but it's been a while. I haven't checked the lineup and how he pitched, if he pitched this year against them. But, they made the adjustment, and it was very obvious within the second inning. Like, they made the adjustment, 5 runs. And I remember watching this game thinking, fuck, here we go. Like, every game, pretty much had been either a blowout or it was decided in like the second or third inning, and then one would slowly try to crawl their way back, but it just never kind of amounted to anything. And of course, after the second inning, 5-0, I'm kind of like, it's over. Like, you could feel the Mets, they looked, when the 5 went up, they looked deflated. Let's just be honest. They didn't have any energy. Lindor, who was pretty much leading them, I think before we get there, he was 1 for 4, like just didn't have a lot. He struck out once. Nimmo struck out twice. Viento struck out twice. Alonso struck out. Winker struck out. Marte struck out. McNeil struck out. It's like, dude, like just getting absolutely pieced up out there. It's like, God damn, like they just didn't have it, So Manaea comes out. Maton goes out there. He gives up a run. Diaz did okay. They actually put in it. Surprisingly, he threw Edwin Diaz like the 4th and 5th, I think it was. Yeah. He did well. I would have wrote him one more, to be honest. Stanek went in there. He didn't even get an out. 1 hit, 1 run, 1 earned run, a walk. So Stanek shit down his leg. Then Garrett went out there, did decent through an inning, flawless inning. Senga went out there, who had an absolute fucking disaster the first game of the series. Just terrible. Went out there 1 2/3. Again, did not have it. 3 runs, 3 hits. 2 walks. Like, just did not have it. And then they ended it with Budo, however you pronounce that, through an out. Yeah, interesting, but just like they just didn't have it, man. They just didn't have it. It just the pitching was a struggle. And that's the thing. This became a bullpen game in the third inning started off a bullpen game for the Dodgers, turned into a bullpen game in the third inning for the Mets. And then when you put bullpens against bullpens, like Dodgers have a stronger bullpen. I thought for a while their starting pitching was going to be the issue, but they always had a decent bullpen. So, and we saw that those guys took care of business, man. They didn't fuck around. Like 1 strikeout, 2 strikeouts, 1 strikeout, 1 strikeout. Treinen had 4 in his 2 innings of work. Like, got to give yourself a shot. Got to give yourself a chance. And the Mets just didn't do that. But let's look at the lineup here. Ohtani, 2 for 4, not bad. Betts, again, 1 for 4. We're still rocking that 1 OPS. Teoscar Hernandez came in clutch. Yes, he did. 2 for 4. Edman. That is the definition of a diamond in the rough. A guy who, they had Betts starting at short all year. Betts gets hurt, and he comes back, put him in the outfield. They put Edman. He just ran with the position. I'm a big fan. I think he's really good, man. And not somebody that you would see often, but he's good. He's good. Muncy again. He's 0 for 2, 2 walks. Not bad. He's done his work this series. Kike Hernandez 1 for 4. We'll see there. Pages, who tore up, I didn't get 2 home runs in game 5, nowhere to be found. And then Kiermaier replaced him in that last inning of the game. Will Smith, 1 for 3, not bad. Chris Taylor, 2 for 3, not bad as well. So again, the Dodgers took it away. They were even at hits, which is crazy. Both teams even at hits, but it's the timely hitting. Timely hitting is so fucking big. It's so big. And a lot of people overlook that. They're like, oh, they just didn't get it done. Well, it's like, look, both got 11 hits. How many did you leave on base? Here we go. So story. The Mets left 13 on base with runners in scoring position. They were 2 for 9. And look at the other side, 5 for 17 with runners in scoring position, only left 9 on base. They plated more, a lot more, 10 to fucking 5. So again, timely hitting. You even look at it not necessarily in Game 5 of the Yankees Guardian series, but there were plenty of situations in Game 1, 2 before it really got crunch time for that series. If you look at Games 1 and 2. Timely fucking hitting. The Guardians left so many people on base in so many key situations where they should have scored. That hurts. You look at this here, same thing. 2 for 9 with runners. When Francisco Alvarez is really the guy again. Okay, I have beef once again with Francisco Alvarez. and I'll explain. Tore it up the 2 games before he had that I think when Walker Buehler and Severino were facing off, Francisco Alvarez shit down his leg again. No baseball IQ. Then I think it was game 3, 4, or 4 or 5. He was like the only guy hitting. He was like 4 for 4, 4 for 5, or some shit like that. Just could not get out. Again, last night had 2 hits. Okay, and here's what I was kind of so in the last inning, watch crazy enough. Oh, let me see. We got all key moments. Show me all of them. I'm gonna be a little loud here. Come on, I want to see this last inning. Okay. So here we go. This is what happens. So Kevin Kiermaier goes in, whatever takes Baez. So Winker strikes out. Marte grounds out. So there's 2 outs. And then Tyrone Taylor gets it. So at that point, I was like, all right, just fucking, Tyrone Taylor, just get him out. Let's get on with the celebration, whatever. Tyrone Taylor gets a single. Yeah, gets a hit. And I was like, oh shit, okay. Then he just takes second, clearly not really paying attention, 10-5 game. Takes second. McNeil also gets a hit. Right off the second baseman's glove, Chris Taylor, which he had to jump and then didn't get it. And I'm like, oh damn, the Dodgers are just like not gonna go away. I mean, the Mets are just not gonna go away. And I was like, this is kind of sick. Let's put something to get 2 outs. You've got to be perfect. They know you need 5 runs, but load them, hit one. You could do something, right? They take a pitching meeting with Trinan, whatever they have. They converse at the mound. Francisco Alvarez is like, and that made me nervous. Number one, because he's shown in previous clutch situations that he lacks baseball IQ. Like he's just kind of a wild card, right? It's like he doesn't see pitches. He's just a free swinger. And I knew that immediately. I was like, okay, they've put some pressure on Trinan here. Put some pressure on the guy. And they disperse the meeting. Everything goes back. You can see Trinan visibly like, all right, like I really got to bear down here. And fucking Alvarez swings at the first fucking pitch and gets fisted to first base. I mean, to second base. And I was like, what the fuck are you doing? You have finally put pressure on these guys. In the last inning, like at least make it hurt a little bit. And you swing at a ball breaking into your bat and you get fucking hit this weak ass ground ball. And I was like, dude, C1. How are you in C1? C2, C3. He's got pressure on him for the first time in his outing, and you swing at the first fucking pitch. They're already sweating a little bit. Shit like that will not get you to the World Series. It fucking won't win you any games. It's just shit like that. I'm just like, what the fuck are we doing, man? And I get it. It happens at every level. But I was just like, my God, have some feel. So Francisco Alvarez, if there's one thing, he can hit the ball, plays decent catcher, but 0 baseball IQ. For any feel of any situation, none. So hope to God it doesn't fall to him because he's going to do some shit like this. But anyway, so now we have the stages fucking set. It is the Dodgers and the Yankees World Series. And I was doing some reading. Obviously there's a historic, not really a rivalry, but there's a lot of history between these two teams meeting. I found this article. I pulled it up here. By the way, crazy, kind of upset that we have to wait a week for World Series to start. I was like, damn, if they're both done by Sunday, let's start it on Wednesday or something. But of course, for prime viewing, prime time, it's all about the money. We're going to start it on Friday night, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Friday, Saturday. I get it. Okay, sure, whatever. Still kind of crappy that we have to wait a week for baseball. Again, no one has faced off more in October than the Yankees and Dodgers. These two teams have been battling it out in the postseason since the 1940s. This World Series has occurred 11 times. With the Yankees have won 8 of those 11 meetings. So history's on the side of the Yankees. But we're going to see. Obviously, this is number one seed. Everyone is okay. And again, I talked about this before. I'm going to say it again for the podcast. Already, people are upset. I went through Twitter earlier. People are already upset. Oh my God, it's the Yankees and the Dodgers, MLB, obviously this is big. Okay, and again, as we talk about this is big for baseball as a whole. I've said it before. This is going to be a massive World Series. I'm sure they're going to break record numbers. And everyone was upset last year because last year was the Rangers and the Diamondbacks and no one gave a fuck. And everyone was like, I'm not watching this. They only had like 9 million viewers, which is one of the least watched World Series of all time. So, it's funny. You get a World Series that no one fucking cared about. I tuned in. I thought it was a great series. Now you get the opposite. The big bucks are on both sides here, and everyone's pissed about that. So it's like no one's ever happy. And I guess that's one of the things I've learned is that no matter what happens, someone's pissed. Whatever. But it's number one seed, one of the biggest budgets in baseball versus another massive budget in baseball. Obviously, the Dodgers signing Shohei Ohtani to a $700 million contract, but then somehow being able to defer half of that. And then you got the Yankees who are, Aaron Judge, Juan Soto, Alex Verdugo, all these guys, Garrett Cole, they got massive contracts. So everyone's upset saying, well, they bought their way. No, that's bullshit. And I've been happy about the people who are speaking out saying that is bullshit. The Yankees have not been to a World Series in 10 plus fucking years, right? So say they have a massive budget. Say they've got X, Y, Z. They've had Garrett Cole now for 2 seasons. This is the first time they've made it this far. They've had Aaron Judge since 2016, 2017. This is the first time they've made it this far. No, it's like, guys, and again, the Dodgers, who have had money for a long time. The Mets everyone's like, oh, the Mets. The Mets have a fuckload of money too. Everyone forgets that they went out and bought Max Scherzer, Francisco Lindor. They bought Justin Verlander. They went and spent a fuckload of money for it to blow up in their face. But everyone forgets that and thinks, oh, the Mets are this low. The Mets are not the Mets are right up there with the Yankees and the Dodgers. Don't forget that. So for people who are like just tuning in to watch baseball, who don't know what the fuck they're talking about, who are like, oh, the Mets are such underdogs. Dude, they spend more money, I think, than they're right up there. So whatever. Let's talk about the Dodgers, who have had money forever, who have been paying guys like, Shohei Ohtani, who have been paying guys like Will Smith, who put him on a big contract, and Clayton Kershaw, and all these guys who have had money for a long time, have fallen short pretty much virtually every year. They haven't made it to the World Series for a while now. I think the last time they went was in 2020. They've fallen short in 21, 22, 23. What money buys you then? It doesn't do anything. It's like they've had all these guys, had all this money. Injuries happen, bad team chemistry happens. And that's what I tell, like I put it on my Twitter. I'm sure we'll talk about it again because it's not going to go away. The World Series hasn't even started yet. The team clinched yesterday to even the matchup, and people are already talking about it. Listen, the postseason baseball, the World Series, whether it's the number one seed versus the last seed, it does not matter this year. Of course, we have number one seed versus number one seed, who also happen to have the biggest budgets in baseball. It does not matter. Both of these teams, there were points in time where we didn't know where the Dodgers were going to go because they had a low point. We didn't know if the Yankees were going to go because they went on like an 8-series streak of losses. Like, both of these teams have had their moments where we're like, shit, they should make it to the World Series. Will they? I don't know, but they should. And the other thing is like, the money did not matter in those situations. Just like right now, the Dodgers are missing Gratterall. They're missing Vesia. They're missing a lot of big-time pitchers. Clayton Kershaw, Walker Buehler's been shaky. He's missed quite a bit since his magical 21 years. So all of these things for the Dodgers to only make the World Series in 2020 and win, but no one really has considered that a win. And before that was like 1980s, bro. So again, if anyone comes up and says some shit, I'm going to lose it. And if you're listening and you hear someone tell you, it's because they bought it, fucking light them up because they don't know what the fuck they're talking about. And that's the most irritating thing. That these two teams are there because they played good fucking baseball. When the other team made the mistake, these teams stood up. When they needed to get the big hit, these teams made the big hit. Like, that's what fucking happens. You have good team chemistry. That's what matters. It's why last year everyone was upset about the Diamondbacks and the Rangers. But both of those teams last year, maybe not this year, really neither of them this year, but last year, both of those teams had an insane energy and an insane amount of team chemistry. Of course, you remove a couple pieces here and there, you add some pieces that weren't there, and then the chemistry can get fucked. But last year, those teams had amazing chemistry. I think the Yankees have a really great team chemistry right now. I think the Dodgers also, I don't like the Dodgers, but watching them play, you can tell that they have a great energy amongst themselves. Team chemistry wins fucking ball games. I'm telling you guys, you can stack. Look at the fucking Yankees who have had all this money and bought all these players. Look at the Mets who have had all this money and bought all these players. That does not matter. Because if they don't gel and they don't play well together, which is very likely in situations where you got guys making big money on all over the place and egos and, whatever, personalities that don't mix. It happens. That's part of the game. It's a team dynamic. That matters more than how much you're paying them. Pay a guy a lot of money, he can go out there and suck ass. The Yankees paid Carlos Rodon a lot of money, and we're just now getting the Rodon that we saw in 21 and 22. So it's like, hey, you never know what's going to happen. But again, number one seed versus number one seed, I'm excited. This is going to be massive for baseball. Whether you're a fan, you're not going to watch it or whatever, I don't really give a fuck. This is going to be an insane fucking series. Again, the same thing with, number one matchup. You got Shohei Ohtani, Aaron Judge, but I'd argue that Shohei Ohtani is really going to be facing off against Giancarlo Stanton and Juan Soto, who have actually really been consistent in the postseason. Even Shohei Ohtani has not really shown up this postseason much at all, let alone another stat that I saw was weird about Shohei Ohtani. He stole 50 bags this year, right? I don't think he's stolen a bag in the postseason. Maybe they're trying to preserve him. I don't know. I've also heard rumors that he may be pitching in the World Series. I don't think that. I think Dave Roberts said no, but now it's kind of like popped back up a little bit. I don't think that's going to happen. But again, we're going to see. But again, this is going to be one of the strongest, as a baseball fan, as a Yankee fan, I'm excited the Yankees made it to World Series. As a baseball fan, these are the strong. You wouldn't want to see anybody else play because it's like, say the Guardians just magically snuck their way past the Yankees and the Dodgers made it. The Guardians versus the Dodgers. That wouldn't have been a fucking series, man. The Dodgers would have slaughtered the Guardians. Other way around. I think that obviously this year hasn't been kind. Yankees versus Mets. The Mets have actually owned the Yankees in both Subway Series we saw this year. But again, power to power, paper to paper, pitching to pitching, bullpen to bullpen, the Yankees smash the fuck out of the Mets. This is the series, if you're a baseball fan, you wanted to see. This is the one. No questions, nothing else. This is the series that everyone's wanted to see, that everyone's been waiting for. The Dodgers went out and made this massive offseason with, Yamamoto, with Shohei Ohtani, with Tyler Glass. Now they kind of assembled a sort of Avengers over there of all these guys. Glass now hurt. Not going to play this probably postseason at all. Kershaw's hurt, not going to play this postseason. Gonsolin hurt. They've had to use guys like Jack Flaherty, who's going to have to step up. Walker Buehler is going to step up. They're going to have to rely on their bullpen a lot heavily. So it's like there's just a lot on both sides of this game. So we're going to see. But I'm super fucking excited. I think it's going to be a great series. But once again, guys, thanks for listening so much. I appreciate it. Be sure to follow me on TikTok. Got stuff there. Follow me on Instagram. Got stuff there. Obviously, if you're on YouTube, listening, watching, whatever, subscribe, like, comment. If you think I'm a moron, if you think I'm an idiot, if you think what I say is just much bullshit, please tell me because I'd love to discuss. That's what we're here for, right? Love talk baseball. But yeah, we're going to have some shorts up today. Again, I don't know if I'm going to podcast tomorrow. Today's the 20th. Like I said, 21st. I don't know if we're going to podcast tomorrow because there's not really anything happening. I think as we get closer, we'll probably bump it back up. Maybe a Wednesday. Maybe not a Wednesday. Maybe we'll just kind of do some short videos and then we'll do a preview either Thursday or Friday before game one. But yeah, it's going to be exciting. So thanks for listening, guys, and we'll catch you in the next one.